Welcome back to the session about planning portfolio strategy. My name is Uwe Fischer. I'm coming from the development in Walldorf, and my responsibility is on BPC development as well as SAC planning. What I would like to walk you through today is talk about the planning solution overview so the solutions that we have today, and then what is our strategy going forward. We just talked about planning in the digital economy and the needs that we have there, and how in the intelligent enterprise the planning solution also needs to adapt it, and that also translates into the strategy that I want to present here. So when we talk about the planning solutions today, let us look at the overall set that we have for plan, report, and analyze. So SAP Analytics Cloud is the product that is tailored for all the three of them. Then we have the digital boardroom that is also kind of a subset of SAC, SAP Analytics Cloud, also tailored for all three of them for plan, report, and analyze. And then specifically on the planning side, we have BPC. And on the analyze side, we also have the profitability and performance management. When we look at specifically the planning side with our products here, we saw an evolution on the BPC side over the last 10 years. We had BPC Microsoft, which is not depicted here, but you can basically see that in BPC, SAP BPC standard. So this is a data mart solution, more or less built for more the line of businesses. So it's more self-service modeling and consumption combined in one web front end. That is what we started with. It also comes with consolidation capability. Then a few years back, we integrated the embedded model of BPC, which is more an enterprise data warehouse integrated solution. It's more corporate, it's more IT, directly integrated with the data warehouse, whereas the BPC standard is a data mart approach that needs to replicate the data into BPC. And then finally, we have BPC Optimized, which is the latest integration of the embedded model into S/4HANA, which is, if you will, kind of an OEM approach, so the technology runs integrated into S/4HANA. And now going forward, what is shaping up on the cloud side is the SAP Analytics Cloud product, a new product, newly built product that is offered as a software as a service approach, and built for the cloud with a cloud user experience. And it comes with planning capabilities. It does not come with consolidation capabilities. And it can be run as a data mart as well as an OEM approach, which we talked in the earlier session already. Talking about BPC, with you, I assume, running planning for quite a while, and that's why you're here, because you're interested in the planning strategy. I guess BPC is known to you. It comes with the flexibility. We see here on the right-hand side the new user interface of BPC 11, which provides the flexibility and the support for the end user with like a favorite page where you see, or favorite pane where you see all the important objects that you're working with. The most important reports can be shown here, as well as kind of a timeline, or at least the activities that are relevant for you. So the product is built to serve the end users, to make life in the planning world as simple as possible, and in particular focus on the content, which is providing the planning numbers rather than to struggle and work with the product. It comes with agility because it has those end user features and end user flexibility. It's also about accuracy, in particular when we talk about BPC Optimized, where then the data sits in S4, so we have very accurate actual numbers from here, but also the data warehouse integration makes sure that we have the data that comes from the data warehouse. And in particular, when we talk about multiple users working in that system, we have one source of truth opposed to using Excel spreadsheets all around, which then means that, well, the data is distributed. And the product is built for finance, particularly. When we look at the SAP Analytics Cloud, this is built to serve you in three aspects. To act in the moment, meaning that you can plan and analyze and predict together in one product. Whatever you need, the functionality is available for you to provide more insight into your data and make sure that the plan data is accurate. we have the integration into S4 that gives you insights directly into your operational data as well, and you can derive your plan directly on top of the actuals from there. And we have the visualization of KPIs and identification of KPIs such that you can drive your business more efficiently, that you focus on the KPIs that drive your business, and other KPIs can be neglected. And we can run the very simple input task, which is just a bottom-up planning. So if you are in a sheet and you want others to contribute to your plan, you can just create an input task and gather the data from different colleagues. Another aspect of collaboration is the side panel, where there is the ability to communicate and collaborate, and commenting functionality. As well as private version management, which allows you to always have your own data copied and taken to the site, such that you have your own area to do what-if analysis, and you can invite colleagues to that to collaborate, but not until you decided that this is the right plan to go. Others that were not explicitly invited will see the data. So that would be an explicit publish step. And in addition, we have intelligent functionality in the product to identify the KPIs that are relevant in your business, to have intelligent insight into your data, and also to provide natural language support. The product itself has multiple features on the planning side that are built to serve you. We have listed them here. Powerful data entry capabilities, which is a grid that we built specifically with a lot of planning capabilities. Very simple KPI calculation, variance analysis is very easy to integrate there. Cell locking is available. All of those functionalities that we need as a planner are available in that grid. We have private versions, what I talked about. We have the collaboration, we have the commenting, cell commenting with a history of data, such that you see how the data propagates. We have predictive forecast, smart analysis, and so forth. So you see, those are the two products. And when we look into the strategy now, this is what we had so far. So in the past, we said, well, the SAP Analytics Cloud is a product that is built for SaaS consumption. Basically, it's built for the cloud, and more or less built for standalone planning. Then we have for standalone on-premise, we have BPC with the different versions, Microsoft, NetWeaver, standard model, embedded model. And for the S4 integration, it's BPC optimized. And for other integration in other applications, we didn't have an answer. So we saw earlier that the intelligent enterprise is asking for deeper integration. And so going forward, we changed the positioning in a way that we say, well, the Analytics Cloud is the to-go product for planning that will see the vast majority of investments on our side. And we want that and we plan that, and we envision that to be the product not only for the standalone usage, but also for the integration into various applications. Of course, we know and we acknowledge that there is need for on-premise products as well. And so BPC, of course, continues to be on the roadmap, continues to be in the strategy, but it's really more focusing on the on-premise consumption, whereas we see that the market is very quickly shifting towards the cloud, which is where then Analytics Cloud is the product to go to. So like I said, BPC, some might be surprised now that like BPC was our flagship product for planning in the past, and now it's getting kind of prior to in that list. But no worries, we are aware that, of course, that is a bit of a shift in the strategy, but that's not made by ourselves. That's also due to the shift in strategy that we see in the market, that we see also on the customer side, and the tendency towards the cloud cannot be addressed with BPC. And that is why, well, we develop the SAP Analytics Cloud, and also the intelligent enterprise needs a technology that can be comprised in all these products. But BPC continues to be there, continues to be part of our strategy, and we know and acknowledge that there is a lot of need for on-premise. So that can be due to regulatory reasons, meaning where the data resides. The data needs to reside behind the firewall, or kind of from regulatory reasons, it has to be in a certain country. In this case, of course, it could mean that on-premise is the technology of choice. Or if there is a corporate policy that is driving into that direction, Or, well, if you have a deep integration into your data warehouse that sits on-premise, then, of course, the planning technology that integrates with that also sits on that on-premise data warehouse. Or also when you have a high demand on application building in a sense that you want to build some highly configured applications with a lot of exits and integrated with other applications that may not be SAP, then today SAC is not capable of doing that, and in this case, the ABAP environment that we have in the BPC product would be the right thing to do. On the other side, we are clear that the enhancements, the vast majority of enhancements will go into the SAC product, and what we do with the BPC product is that we build more and more of the hybrid scenarios, meaning that we integrate SAC and BPC together. For BPC standard, we have a replication scenario, so we bring the data from BPC standard over to SAC, and then you can work in SAC and you can easily bring your data back to BPC. Even the end user, by saving and publishing the data in SAC, can trigger the data being brought back to BPC standard, such that default scripts can be executed that are vital for you from the corporate side to make sure that the data consistency is ensured. For BPC embedded, we have a live connection. If there is time and the network is fine, I can show you that in a second. But this is the direction where we go to. So for BPC, we focus on the hybrid case, and of course, we will also do some enhancements following very concrete customer demand. From the maintenance perspective, you don't need to worry about BPC. So the BPC 10.1, so the NetWeaver, the last NetWeaver version that we have, will be in maintenance until end of 24, sorry. And the BPC 11, I know has currently a maintenance window until 2020, which is sometimes a bit of a struggle. But that's just a formal issue on our side. We already have a new product version in the pipeline that will then follow, expectedly next year, which then will, as far as it looks right now, also have the end of maintenance until 2024. So when you are on BPC 11, then, well, there is also kind of a maintenance window until 2024. So both product versions, BPC NetWeaver and BPC 11, both have the direction to 2024. Good, and then this is about the live connection with SAP Analytics Cloud. Let me just give it a try, whether that's gonna work. It worked before, and I struggled a little bit when I just wanted to open it. Good, this is a SAP Analytics Cloud that we have. Now let us see whether the data retrieval is working. There is a story in the homepage that I just triggered, and that story is reading the data live from a BPC embedded. You see that would be the simple end user experience that you have in SAC. It's a very simple grid, but you see here there is input enablement for those cells, and we see there is a story filter on top of here, and as an end user I can open that and I can change my selection here. So now we see here demo country, and we see the input enablement of these data. And when we go here, you see this is an AO workbook that has the same data. So you see that roots on the same data source. And now I can change the values here. I can change that to 600,000. And now the data is propagated back to BPC. And you see the impact analysis immediately. So we see that for Cola in our demo country, the plan revenue was decreased, and the increase in revenue was also updated, which is a calculated key figure done on the BW side. And we see the impact analysis also. So now we see here demo country, and we see the input enablement of these data. And when we go here, you see this is an AO workbook that has the same data. So you see that roots on the same data source here. And as an end user, I can open that and I can change my selection here. So now we see here demo country, and we see the input enablement of these data. And when we go here, you see this is an AO workbook that has the same data. So you see that roots on the same data source. And now I can change the values here. I can change that to 600,000. And now the data is propagated back to PPC. And you see the impact analysis immediately. So we see that for cola in our demo country, the plan revenue was decreased, and the increase in revenue was also updated, which is a calculated key figure done on the BW side. And we see the impact analysis also on the totals. So that is the way how SSE is visualizing those things. Now we see that the overall achievement for next year is far below expectation. So we want to adjust that. So we can just make use of the inverse formula here. I just updated the increase of revenue to where's that? So I say, well, I don't want to have any change in my revenue from 2018 to 2019. So I set that to 0. And we see that immediately there is a disaggregation done. So the total value is updated, and the data is disaggregated to water and juice and cola. But we also see that iced tea is not updated. That is due to the fact that there is a data slice on the BPC backend, which makes sure that this data record is not updated. And when you can see that from the distance, it's also not input enabled, so it's a bit more gray. So you see that there is no input enablement possible. So with that, now we see that we have a lot of features available, the front-end features. If now we say, for example, well, choose, they cannot do more next year, so we lock that cell. But overall, we want to increase our revenue by, let's say, 10%. Then we just type in 10%. We see that there is the calculation is done on the front end. We see there is an increase derived, but we didn't touch the choose because we did the front-end cell locking. So you see a nice combination of the data slice, which is back-end cell locking, and the front-end cell locking in the user interface. So this is how the end user would interact with that if now we allow the user even to change the setting here in the front end. We can easily introduce a new calculation. For example, if we want to see what is the increase between 2018 and 2019, if we don't trust the number that comes from BPC, we just mark the two columns, actual and the actual from 2018 and the planned 2019. And just by marking those two and pressing that new column button, the system knows that this should be a delta calculation and calculates the delta. And now we have a front-end calculation done in SAC of the delta and the back-end calculation of the delta coming from BPC. And by coincidence, they are the same. So obviously the math is doing well. But you see how easy it is now to add a number, to change that. If now we don't like that the presentation of the delta, we can go to the designer and we can change the presentation here of that. We can go here and change the scale, for example, to million, and now we get the presentation done in the format that we expected. We can also add a new column here for the delta. Say, well, that is the delta in percent, and we mark that, and we go here to the formula, and we select. We go here. We want to calculate the delta divided by the original value. And now we see this is the delta. Obviously, the presentation is also not right. So we can go here. We have the delta in percent. And we can go here to to the presentation mode again, and we can change that to percentage, and press OK. And now you see that we get the percentage value. So all this is now calculated on the front end. It's a front end feature. And if now we want to bring the data back to BPC, we just publish it. So the data is sent back to BPC, and we can go back to it. You just have to believe me. So those are the original numbers. And now we go to analysis, refresh. Okay. Good. Now you see the updated numbers, and you see at the bottom the info provider is locked, and that is because we're working on that info provider and SSC at the same time. So you see that even the locking mechanism of BPC embedded is working well. So that is what I wanted to show you. So we are sitting with SSC live on BPC and can update the data accordingly. Good. I think that's good news for everyone who's running BPC embedded. Still, there is also a bit of bad news. So I want to be very clear and also share that with you very transparently, that there are limitations for the live connection. And there is, whenever we talk about planning in SAC, we talk about version management, we talk about VDT allocations, spreading. All of these features are not available on the live connection because the engine of SAC is not used. We're just using the front end, but we are not using the SAC engine. So whenever you consider the embedded live connection that I just showed, please make sure that you read this document here. You can find it in the help.sap.com. Just search for SAP BPC live data connections, and this hit is the one that I would like to ask you to read. There we listed all the different features that will work and the features that will not work. Good. Last but not least, on consolidation, just quickly to summarize. Also here we have BPC positioned in the past and only in the context of S/4HANA Cloud. We have the cloud for group reporting. In future, cloud for group reporting will be the solution to go for. Similar strategy like for planning. We go for the new cloud solution, and BPC continues to be the on-premise product. Good. With that, I would like to conclude. I think you saw that we are heading towards the cloud as SAP. The entire intelligent enterprise is going towards the cloud. And that led to the change in direction for BPC and for SAC as the to-go products, as well as the S4 group reporting. Primarily, our investment will go into SAC and in SAP HANA group reporting products. I mentioned it earlier. Good. With that, I would like to open up for questions.